Am I doing the intro?
You're doing the intro. Go. It's going.
Hello, everybody. That's right. I am doing the intro. I am joined by one day future L5R Hall of Fame member. We just found out about this. We're, way behind in the sort of newsness of
Not
L5R.
being on
But,
Facebook does have consequences.
but
None that I'm
I,
willing to
I'm
acknowledge.
voting for you, Jesse, whenever it becomes possible for me to do so, which is probably never, but,
It's not
say
true.
levy.
I'll run 5 Shanghai Kotais and I'll get on the list.
You'll get on the list. So I don't know why we're making fun of that. We're making fun of it. It's just when someone said to us, "Hey, there's an L5R Hall of Fame," and we're like what? Like, huh? So this is Thunderous Acclaim item previews, and we've got the box of secrets to open it up. Paul, Jesse. I think Box of Secrets is like this potentially super awesome, amazing card. What about you, Jesse?
The secret to the box of secrets is that it may very well be
It's like
broken.
filled with awesome. So,
So cheap stuff is good, and cheaper stuff is even better. So if you can figure out a way to combine like Shika Sensei with a deck that's entirely ninja of a single clan, a single family name, perhaps Bayushi, then hey, you're done.
yeah, I mean it's going to definitely take some work, and it's work that involves looking at something you probably haven't spent a ton of time with, which is like faction names or family names. Like even the most dedicated player of a
Has no
faction,
idea like what the
you
distribution
might
of.
I mean, I know there's a million ISOA, but I can't off the top of my head say like, oh, this one's an ISOA, that one's an ISOA. But these things do stack, and just if you go put this down and buy one ISOA, it's sort of paid for itself, right? And there's enough one-for-one holdings that worked out really easy. And then if you put this down and buy two of the guys with the same name, now this has sort of generated your gold, right? So
Yeah.
it sort of can build out your gold structure. And in a game that's sort of defined by economic efficiency, it's easy for me to imagine some very sort of crazy draws, especially when you get into like gold straight into the off turns and you attach it there. I mean, this card can have some very profound impacts on the way games develop. But they still have to have a deck that does a bunch of other stuff, and you can't just like walking away for this card and put it down and think, oh, I've got this card and this card is good and now I'm going to win all my games. But I do think that there's going to be in the world a deck that runs 3 copies of this card that, like, when they hit, it's sort of nutsy.
Yeah, and like my first smug thing was like, well, we'll just play it in. All you gotta do is put it on a guy and make a military deck. I think Honor might be the home for this card. I'm thinking about like putting it on an Otomo perhaps and making like 2 gold Otomo Tenejis and 2 gold Demias.
Yeah, that's really an interesting thought, and I hadn't even considered that.
Potentially free stuff like with 3 of these out. Even just like you go into Crane and you see like what's the family breakdown of Crane, and like you try to play all dojis or something. Just like make even like slightly inefficient choices and just play all dojis and play Box of Secrets, and you try to play the like Merchant Caravan deck where you go guy on 1, play Merchant Caravan card like Ascendance of the Turquoise Champion, then turn 2 like play out like turquoise out a Box of Secrets and some gold and like go from there.
Yeah, I mean that's actually really interesting. I envision it more in the like you're playing your spider deck with a bunch of your 4 and 5 gold cost guys, and you sort of specifically play all the Daikatsus, of which you still have a bunch of 3 for 4s and 3 for 5s. And then if you just get 1 or 2 of these down, it just sort of pushes your tempo that much further away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that's like the obvious way to do it. My problem is just like this card wants to be in a deck.
Can still do, maybe.
This card wants to be in a deck that really is gold light. If you're playing a deck that's already all 4 and 5 gold cost guys, like are you really already having trouble clearing your provinces? You hit a certain like advantage bottleneck, which is why first I wanted to talk about Shika Sensei.
I feel like turning 5 into 4 is actually a really like if
no,
you
I
can
completely
do that,
agree.
It'd be a really big
I
price
completely
point.
agree. But you to get full advantage of this card, you want to be buying 4 or 5 guys a turn, or be running next to no gold.
That's why I love it in the Spider Daigatsu deck, because even when I lose a province, I get my flip. But also in Honor decks because of Coronation Festival. That's a point well taken.
I mean, all decks now, yeah, with Coronation Festival.
So this is a card that we like. We think it's got a really powerful static trait that's just sort of kicking on and doing good work. But I can also make the prediction that I don't think many people are going to play this card. And that's just because these aren't the sort of cards people like to play. And I think
Agreed.
that
Agreed.
as players, they're not looking for ways to explain it. I think that most people are going to open up their packs and just like look at this card and be like,
What the heck is
stud
this?
rare. I'm like, out of here. Like, I don't want to deal with
On
this.
the
Like,
other
I don't.
hand, I think the game is in a place right now with these wide decks that like this is an obviously powerful card. If you can figure out like there's a Mantis build that plays only Yoritomos, or there's a like you said a Spider
Sure.
build that plays only Daigatsus, or a Scorpion build that's only Bayushis. Like this changes the math on a lot of cards. Like a lot of guys,
Absolutely.
that even like slightly more expensive guys that were 6 or 7 gold, like if they go to like 5 or 6 gold, like are they now
I, we
totally
keep saying
awesome?
only, but it doesn't necessarily have to be only. It could be like, you
You
know,
know, yeah, 90%,
15 or something. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Because you're only buying so many guys. So,
80%.
really interesting card. On to Fang of
Fang of
Vengeance.
Vengeance.
As a general rule, when you put Fang in the title of a card, I get excited.
And how did
Uh,
that work out for you this time?
Not as well. I saw +2/+1 in Battle for Melee 2, and I was like, ah, that's pretty cool. And then I just assumed for some reason it was 2 gold. I don't know why. I just in my mind I was like, ah, this is gonna be like a little
This is
2 gold.
quite. This is a pretty expensive card.
This would be awesome at 2 gold. So obviously it is not. It's actually still okay at 4 because it's got the reserve, the immediate follow up.
If they blew up one of your things,
If they blow it up one of your things, so you sort of gotta pick your spots and time it. But when it does that, I think it's a perfectly fine card. I don't think it makes it into any constructed draft. I don't think it's quite that good, but I can absolutely see it being kind of a draft all-star because Reserve Force with a melee attack.
the melee two is a little. I feel like if it was like a melee 2+1, if you played it this turn, like something that gave it a little bit of
Yeah, it
bump when
gets
you
a
put
little
it
bit too
down.
pushed. I mean, you're asking a lot then from your sort of common weapons, man. Like you
But I'm
gotta,
saying
you know,
like if so my vengeance is that I get a melee two, like they blow up my thing, so the idea is I'm putting this down, I'm blowing up their thing. But am I?
yeah. So you would have preferred something that's like no force G bonus, but instead is just like melee a million.
No, but I'm saying if the concept of the card is they blow up something, I pay 4 gold and blow up something back. Like I want an ability that can actually blow something up.
That's fair. But I feel like this is about right. I'm fine with it. You know, you want to keep reserve alive. You want to put on a couple attachments. This tells a little bit of story. Like you get it. Like, oh, it's a fake of vengeance, and I'm vengeful, and I
Yeah, I do think
melee.
this is a flavor hit. This is not a
Like,
flavor
you
fail
know,
by any
this is
stretch of
just
the
this is a
imagination.
perfectly fine fun card. Like not every card is a sort of constructed card all star thing, and I think
Agreed.
this is fine card. And maybe
So
in Kensei deck,
come on, People's Republic, get your stuff together.
flying, baby, I'm flying.
Flawless
Okay.
Naginata. In fact, I can find some flaws in this card. It's 6 gold. It only gives a melee 2 attack. It it's a oh, no, it's a pole arm. That's pretty cool.
Right.
It
So
turns on
now
our
now
crane
we
guy.
have to try to remember like which ones are pole arms. How come pole arms light? How come they're not heavy weapons? This kind of bugs me. Um I love the courage. Like the courage, like so like let's throw courage on some stuff. How about we throw it on the 6 gold cost item?
Yeah, that part.
Huh?
The way courage is distributed is really beyond me. And like Ivory or Jade Ascension is the card that I always read, and I always remember it has courage, and you always think like, who will ever drop this card ever to courage? It's just so stapled on.
I should have done it once, by the way, and it lost me a game, but I had
Seriously.
forgot. Yeah. Anyway, I love the zero focus value. It's like they really wanted to be like they were gonna just write on the card at neon like, do not for dueling decks. Cannot play with duels. But they decided like zero focus value is just the
It's
better
close
way.
enough.
They were really racking their brains like, oh man, it's +2 cheap +4 dueling decks might play this. How can we stop it? Like, I got it. We would just give it sort of like I feel like a 1 would have been okay. Like I felt like the 0 is just like this extra little bit of like no, we got to make sure nobody feels saucy to play it.
Maybe it's a flavor thing. It's enchanted with one of the black scrolls, and that will come out
Should we
in the
talk about the
experience.
sort of the disparity about like Crane are all about perfection? You think they want a flawless weapon, but apparently they can't use the Naginata.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unreachable. It's oh, okay, perfectly. I mean, does anybody just play it for the stats? Like people play, +3/+2 stat card.
Why
Is
don't I
that
just pay 2 more gold and draw a card off of my
It's
Destined, whatever.
Awakened Naginata is in fact
Awakened
only
Naginata.
one more gold. It's if you can sort of do things with melee too, like if you're also playing cards that might interact with the melee too, if you're also playing force reduction cards. Like I could see this fitting in somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
I can imagine one. And so we come to the card that grants inevitable
Inevitable victory.
victory.
It's gonna see a lot of play. People like these sorts of cards. I attach it on
The
your
last
turn.
card, the last couple of cards we had like this, I feel like were unique. That like every turn you get a thing.
The last one that I remember that was not unique was Ancestral Kumbo. No,
I thought
Ancestral
there was a
Tambo.
Kabuto, wasn't it a
Ancestral
Kabuto?
Kabuto, that's right. Ancestral Kabuto. It was a one gold item back in Ivory. It was a promo card from I think the second Ivory Gen Con because it wasn't legal for very long. Or not Ivory, Lotus. Sorry. And it saw a lot of play. People really liked it. This is obviously more expensive than one gold, but it's also a destined. You redraw immediately. Um, it's just a really good card. You throw it down on their turn, whatever. You get a +1/+1 right away, and then you just sort of sit and you win. And like when you go to time, you say like, "Well, I'm gonna wait for turn 1,000,000, then I'll have a 1,000,000 force guy." And what are you gonna do?
Right. So the card you're talking about, which I don't even think was Lotus, I think it was Diamond. Um, the Ancestral Kabuto, it was much cheaper. It's like one gold.
That's what I
Maybe it
just
was
said.
free.
It was one gold.
Uh,
I'm gonna pull
I
it
might
up.
have been free though. Okay. But it was also unique. This card is not unique. Now it's two-handed, so you can't. There's no way to get two of them on. But like you can have like three. You can have like three dudes that are just like
It
get bigger,
was, yeah,
get
it was unique. You're right.
get bigger, get bigger, get bigger, get bigger. And that one only went on Bushi or
Only
something.
on
This
Samurai. It started as a +1/+1, so that's a bit of a difference.
big difference there. Though you didn't have one gold cost hold in, so you have to pay for. Anyway, um, yeah, I think that this is. I mean, like this card gives you really big duelists. It also gives you like big guys that can't be dueled. There's sort of a fun, weird game that you play there. But you just think about like if I take 3 turns, it's +3/+3 for 4 with Destin, and that's awesome, right? So it's just a question of how long your games of L5R are. Are your games of L5R long enough where you can get one of these down and it turns into this very efficient and powerful thing? And obviously, over the course of 10 turns, this card is awesome. So I mean that's really just it's a straight sort of like what kind of deck am I playing and what kind of games does that deck generally play. Now with things like honor decks, if you're playing a duel-based honor deck, you're probably trying to win on turn 5 or 6, so you're probably
There's
not
nothing
playing this
there.
because it's just like you want to just be crossing and finishing and you don't have time to draw something like this. But if you're playing a slower spider military deck that wants to duel that maybe needs to play the duel or something, and you envision a game where it's 6 or 7 turns, this card's awesome.
Yeah, so this is going to be a field call for playing this card. Like, if you think there's going to be a lot of honor decks in the field, this card is trash. It's
Yep.
trash for honor decks. It's trash against honor decks. So there's just not enough time to get value out of it. But there definitely is like a construction of spider or crab, like troll or military, where you can play 3 copies of this and like a bunch of stuff that like boosts up your province strength and a bunch of defensive type cards, and just like never attack and play these and win all your defensive battles.
You can like
And
put it on your guy with the air spell who just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
right, and the idea is like you get like you never try to win the game. You just have these inevitable
Yep.
victories, and like eventually they get so big your opponent can't deal with them, and you just wander across the field and attack. It's like a pseudo control deck, and it can never beat honor. But if you don't think it's going to be there, you don't worry about it.
Yep. And so that's sort of a neat. So it's a card for Durbs, you say. Well,
As I
all
was
right.
as I was
I'm
talking
looking
about
for,
this, I was thinking, this sounds like a card for
where's
me.
my sign up sheet here?
That's
Like
right.
I want like get Dirtle o'clock, baby. Okay, we're on to a Tessin, which God bless him, man. I
God
know
bless
I know
Tessins.
Okoto Kano is the guy that looks for tennis. I love that we did.
Kano.
So this lets you
Do finish
use
him.
Tactician as an engage, and they don't care, so I'm done. Like they don't
No,
they
this
don't
is
care.
like Kano used knives and he has a laser beam eye. He doesn't have a Tessin.
That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
this
He
is a total
threw
flavor fail.
a complete mistake. Is he in the latest,
He
by
is
the
in the
way?
latest. Yeah, he's awesome.
Okay.
You get grenades now too. Yeah.
because everything's better with grenades. There's a million plus two plus threes, and yes, it gets one less for your unique Akoto Kano,
Which
so
is
whatever.
whatever. I don't
But
know. Like, does being able to tacticals and visit engage do anything? I'm not convinced it does.
it sort of does, in that it lets you make your guy really big, so that it takes melee type cards off the table, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
they're gonna planning on shooting me with Unholy Strike, and I'm like,
But
as
like
an
my
engage,
guy's already got plus two
seven
force from
force,
his Tessin. Like, how much force do I need before they take an
right?
action?
And right, so I just not for me, at all ever, but okay.
Okay, Master Bowman's Yui, or Master Bowman's Yui. Perhaps it's a guy that stands at the
Ooh,
top of a boat.
ooh, ooh.
This is
Yeah.
this is a card clearly meant to be used with our new Mantis guy. It is a bow. It has a range 3. It goes to range 4 on our guy. Some of the other bows we've seen printed don't have a force on them. A lot of them are
Are
like
we are we really saying that, by the way? Is like every bow supposed to be used with the guy who says
it's the
that for
keyword
bows? We're
game,
not
dude. You
really.
got to play. We're all in
Okay.
this together. Like you can't escape.
Um,
It's like a dystopian young adult fiction novel.
so everybody played Kuon Stick, which was like plus one force for 3 gold that made a range 3. Now we're playing
There's
twice as much.
no one that interacts with a staff, by the way.
Give it time, man. Give it time. Uh, so now we're paying 6 gold to make the same ranged attack, but we're getting plus 3 force. Like that feels like an appropriate sort of variation on a theme to me.
I am actually really worried about this. That the keyword game made this item cost an extra gold.
That seems likely. Actually, like that wouldn't, it wouldn't be. I wouldn't be shocked if this was once make a ranged 4 and they sort of cut it back to 3, or it was once 5 gold and they upped it to 6. Those small incremental changes can certainly be made and justified based on interactions in the card pool.
Yeah,
But this is sort of what you want with those kind of events, because plus 3 force for 6 gold with a range 3 attack, like that's a lot of solid value in a card, right? I don't think more expensive attachments, and 6 is a more expensive attachment, where I want to be in the format right now because of duelist blow up attachment card. I don't want to
yeah.
harp on one card sort of turning me off a whole subset of cards, but it is a concerning consideration for me. But like this card is fine sort of when it's just doing its own thing, and then if it gets on that guy, that's really great, right? That you
For
can
sure.
combine the ranged attacks and make like a ranged 8.
Yeah, naval
So,
range 3 is really good.
yeah.
And like a small deck with lots of naval guys could maybe reach for this card. I just don't know how the gold all breaks down.
Yep, absolutely. I played the one that was like plus 2 plus 1 for 7 that made a melee 4. I think this is just a straight improvement on that, and that
Yeah.
card was alright. So match Daisho.
I feel like this one
So
should get another one out of the bin or out of the deck or something. Like what about it is
yeah,
matched?
this one's really sort of odd. So, as a focus effect, you may discard a card to draw a card. Like we've come a long way from just strategic withdrawal drawing us a card, right? Like now there's like cost. Like we can't. So it gains a bonus if you have another dice show or you have compassion, which sort of can come and go. If it's plus 3 plus 1 for 3, it's okay,
So it's
but
plus 6
like
plus 2 while you have two of them. Like
yeah,
yeah.
and that's not that good. There was a card upstream that's plus 3 plus. Yeah, I don't just
What's
play two.
the
What the family blade, Fubatsu blade? Just play some Fubatsu blades,
well
man.
the
Like
one the
just
one
do
that
that.
I stack this up against is stockpile weapons.
Yeah, that like
Like
digs out the other
stockpile
ones.
weapons is 3 gold for plus 2 plus 1, or you can invest it to 4 to get another one. So like for an
Yep.
extra gold, you're losing a force and getting another sword.
But this one gets to say compassion on it, which is like the fun new thing.
Okay, next card. Poison Shuriken. Let's talk
Yeah,
about how far poison has fallen. Every time we talk about poison cards, I'm going to bring up the fact that poison used to just kill you. Now it bows you.
and causes you honor loss, which like not everyone is just immune to all the time. Like
Three
you can't.
points, like 3 points for a bow effect,
Yeah, so
a
yeah, you could try to
conditional
play
bow
this with your
effect.
Red Fang's Hunger, and it's just like you lose a ton of your own honor. It adds up pretty quick. I sort of hate this card.
I don't sort of hate this card. I really
Yeah,
hate this card.
powering a guy without abilities would be nice, but almost everybody has stapled on abilities. And even then, just bowing a random guy and he still has his attack. It's not. This is the worst kind of synergy. It's like you do all this work to gain a sort of very average to below average effect, and it's just not worth the effort. I believe the phrase is the juice is not worth the squeeze.
A poisoned weapon giving a chi bonus, by the way, is a flavor fail.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything about its one-handedness? If we put two of them on, then no,
No,
nothing.
no,
There's
nothing.
nothing there. There's nothing there.
Reinforced Yari. Um, this card's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know that it makes the cut. It's expensive. It gives you a lot of force, okay, but it's really expensive. But that ability of like you can't cav into this battle is kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if it does anything,
Yeah,
but it's kind of cool.
it. So I'll tell you how it does things. It does things when you can set up. So you're playing your deck. Let's say you're playing a unicorn deck, and you have some number of infantry guys, some number of cavalry guys. You put this on your infantry guy and make him really big force. So then you can sort of cav over there and sort of do a swappity do with something like sudden movement. As a sort of
Yeah, I was
sneak.
thinking about like sudden movement. I was thinking about specifically superior tactics that one-time all-star now nobody cares
Yeah.
about.
So
That like
there are some movement cards that a lot, but I think mostly it's just a big item. You want to make your guys just big, scary looking. Here's but when you build your L5R deck, it's good to have cards that convert late game gold. Like, you lose provinces over the course of game of L5R a lot of the time.
mhm.
And, honor decks don't struggle with this because they're so low to the ground and efficient. But you're playing a military deck, and it's like you have to develop your gold early to buy your guys, but then you lose some provinces and you're sort of left with gold. So you play some number of attachments that you can consistently convert your gold into meaningful resources. And this is just here's a big force. And there's definitely a place in the format for cards like this. Having said that, nobody plays the full force for 5 gold follower. And I think in almost every situation, I'd rather just have that than this. So I guess you can shoot that down more easily than you can shoot down a guy with reinforced Jari.
Yeah,
So
I mean I play that follow. I really like him.
right.
Hashimoto's
So
Legion or whatever.
um, it's an interesting card, and it's
Yeah, like I
certainly the
said, it's probably too expensive. It's probably not good enough, but we haven't
plus
seen
four for
anything like this
7
before, like this yet that interacts with cavalry in this way.
in the current format. We've seen this exact card before, right? We've seen like layered plates, this kind of stuff. So it's nice to have this. Okay, on to Shield of the Honored Soul. So when they say shield, what they meant is suit of armor.
Samurai don't use shields. So
Because
Paul, so if you had to guess, so the air dragon costs what, 15 gold, 13 gold, I forget.
no, stop. I knew you were gonna bring it up, and
And
like at
so
this point, I'm just salty about it,
it's
man. Like,
7 force, so we can determine that in the air dragon's cost, the 15 gold, like 3 points, like how much of that was his ability, how much of it was his force? Like
like I don't stop bringing it up. Like, just stop. It's just at this point, it's just mean. You're just being mean. I mean, he does straighten after every phase begins, so I
It
can
straightens
give
during
him.
every
If
straighten phase. It's not the same thing. It's not.
I'm pretty sure it's every phase. I'd have to go back and read it, but like I can give him the merchant caravan ability and bow him to make gold, and then he'll straighten and still attack. Yeah, I mean, he's stop making fun of my air dragon, man. Just stop. It's not fair.
No.
Yeah, I will respond to your perfectly fair request with straight denial. Okay, so I like this armor perfectly fine. 3 for gold is the right price point. Negate force penalties. Okay. Like, okay.
Is ominous armor
Ever,
still in? It's tough for me to push past ominous armor
yeah,
if
I
I'm
mean
reaching for
you're
armor.
never gonna play this guy, but like the question is existing. It's a
I'm
bad card. It's
playing draft.
Yeah, it's a perfectly fine card. Like, you have to make so many items per thing, and I just like, what have we not done? No, we haven't made an armor in a while. Nobody looked for armors yet, by the way. Where's that crap guy looking for armor? Come on, there's got to be a Caillou up there who wants to
Because
play
hold on,
that.
we're gonna get a guy that looks for staffs and armor next set. Like I know you're watching Brian Reese. He'll just fix all his mistakes in one unique.
There you go. So, okay, here's a sword
Sword
catcher.
catcher.
Whatever
It's
you
a peasant.
have 4 copies because whatever.
It's a
Play it
peasant
with your
weapon, and it.
play it with your Ashgaru. Be excited that you're breaking deck building rules with lousy cards.
I have the flavor text on this card because it's so like smug. It's like an internet argument, and like like someone says something, and then you say something back, and then you get them, and you're like, "What now?" And like you wobble your head in
So,
like the most smug way possible.
so should we talk about it at all? Because it's like the
No.
fear effect actually is pretty interesting in that it says
Yeah, it bounces them,
it,
which
you could play this in your sort of spider fear deck, right? Where it's like this fear is the only fear that sends them to item. It does. I mean, it can answer any spell for a turn. It can answer any item for a minute. Like that's fine. Like this is not actually a bad card. And it's like you're only running like one attachment. And you say I'm gonna run 4 sword catchers because they're cheap, efficient force, and they help me deal with other annoying followers and spells that get in the way of me shooting their
yeah,
guys.
for
Like,
sure.
okay,
How does it interact with Jinden
it's a
Sensei? Does it blow
it's a
up?
peasant weapon, by the way. So.
It is. There are Mantis guys that care about peasant weapons. Distressingly, I know that. I need to figure out. I can't remember if Yajindan Sensei says it says all your
That
fear
was
effects,
like,
right? So this will
yeah,
like
no,
supersede it.
it's fear effects. It was only fear effects from like your spider dudes and your box, right? It wasn't any fear effects.
No, I think it's from your cards in play in your box.
No, it specifically was Spider Clan personality because I know it didn't work with Voitagi until you oathed him.
Okay.
So like that much I know. I know it's only Spider guys and then box. I don't know if it had anything to do with attachments. Someone go rejudge it and say we probably could do that. I mean, we're sitting at computers that have internet access, but we're not going to. For you to find out, viewer, we're sending you on an important quest.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this with you.
That's right. Okay, and that is items.
And that is items. We're cranking
No,
through. Hope you're enjoying it.
there's one really important card right at the front that reduces people's gold cost. And then there's a bunch of items are this sort of filler attachment, like decks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you need
Hype
per gold
force.
personalities, some number of actions. Followers are important, items are important, but they sort of the priority they have in deck building is very questionable.
It's slightly lower. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So until next time, I'm Jesse, and that's Paul. And this has been Enough Talk.